You're welcome back. Members of the National Food Suppliers Association have served notice they will picket the National Food Buffer Stock Company headquarters next week. The suppliers are unhappy about the delays in the payment of some supplies made to government. 3 weeks ago, the suppliers raised concerns about the delays and issued an ultimatum for the immediate payment to happen. But it appears that that promise by the buffer stock company is yet to be fulfilled. The suppliers say the hope of getting their funds back is waning as they are struggling to keep their businesses running. In the studio with me now is Kokwe Medome, who's spokesperson for the suppliers. The last time we were having a conversation, Kokwe, was full of hopes by your members and by extension you, the leadership of the group, that government will honor the obligation, but that is not materializing. Have you made your checks to find out if you just have to wait a few more days for the payments to hit your account?
Good afternoon to your listeners. Yes, the last time we held a press conference, we were thinking government will come forth with plans as to how and when our members will be paid. But we have not heard anything though. But let me make the point that we met with the Minister of Education.
Yeah, I recall you telling us about that engagement.
The reason why we didn't take that seriously is that we have heard that song for the past 2 years. It's been the same thing. We are making plans to pay, the arrangements to pay, and it's been like that, and nothing has ever happened. That's why we knew that nothing was going to happen. And so we are stuck to our guns. On Tuesday, we'll be picketing, and nothing will stop us. We've written to the police. We have complied with the Public Order Act. And then, even though the regional command was not in support, they said there are a lot of bookings.
Okay. Yet they'll give you their,
No, they said they're not going to.
Okay, so they don't even want to agree with you.
They said we should change and then reschedule to July. But we cannot wait for another month to demonstrate, because we've been asking government to come to our side to honor his commitment under the contract.
Can't you find another way by mounting pressure on government? Because already some would say there's good faith on the part of the minister who's engaged you and giving you assurances that the funding will be released or has been released. So the work is with the buffer stock.
That good faith we have with government is defeated. We have crossed that threshold. There's no trust between us and the government anymore. And we have even lost trust with our customers. The people that we source for funding, the people that we go to source for the foods that we supply, they no longer supply us. They no longer believe in our credibility. And so we have lost confidence in the government promises to honor whatever promises it's giving us. It's not happening. And you ask, why wouldn't we do another? Yes, yes. There are no meetings. We are not interested in meetings again, because we have held meetings. We are locked up. We've been locked up for hours in meetings with the minister, the buffer stock CEO, but nothing has come out, and so we are not interested.
Okay, where do you suspect the problem to be coming from? Really, is it much more an issue about the buffer stock, or there's more to this?
Yes, there's some sort of opacity and dealing with these issues with government. The reason being that when we went to the Minister of Education, he told us that he has paid 90% of what we owe, what government owes us. We went to the buffer stock, the CEO said, at one breath, he said he had loan on his book that he need to repay, and so he had used part of our money to pay the loan. And then when the media called him, he said, oh, he's making plans to pay. So there's no straightforward statement coming from government. We have written to the Office of the President, Chief of Staff. We haven't heard anything from any of them. And so I think making this loud and picketing will draw the government's attention.
When was the last time you engaged the CEO of the buffer stock company?
The last time was before our press conference. That was when we engaged the CEO of buffer stock. And after our press conference, we've never had any opportunity to meet the CEO, but rather we met with the Minister of Education, who said the Finance Minister had traveled and then he'll be back. And when he comes back, he's going to see to how you're going to get paid. And he made us to write some letter and then reminding them of the
need for the clearance.
The need for the clearance.
Right, okay.
But I was not impressed because the money has been with them for 2 years. And 2 years, this is not the time for writing letter. This is the time for actually doing payments. Because at one point in time, we're giving a week. Another point, we're giving a month. Another point, we're giving 3 months. At a point in time, we're told that the buffer stock CEO had gone to Mecca. We should wait. We had waited for all these stories to be told. We had waited. We had done everything we need to do. And nothing has come out. And that's why we're picketing. And this picketing, we are not just picketing for a day. We're going to be there on Tuesday till we are paid. So it means we are going to be there from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, and we are going home and coming back to resume picketing the next day. We're going to be picketing till we are paid our money.
But that's surprising, knowing the kind of service you render to the education sector. This is the same sector that you provide and supply food items to the various schools at the regional district level. What will happen then if you're spending all of your time here in Accra?
That is the challenge. That is the challenge, and that is why government must come in. Because, you see, apart from we taking the money from government without interest, we are spending so much to claim our money, which is not fair. It is totally not fair if this government actually mean to sustain its policy of free SHS. The free SHS can never be sustained without us. We agree, our kids are those in school. We cannot frustrate the system, and that's not our intention. But our business must also be sustained. As I'm speaking to you, most of our members are owing the banks. They have used their money, their properties as collateral to get the money to finance their businesses. Some of us go to source for the goods on credit from farmers. And these farmers are on our necks. There's nothing we can do but to pay the money. Where are we going? And my brother, government is not interested in paying interest on the money. After 2 years of keeping our working capital, government is not paying.
Are you interested in the interest?
We are very much interested
in just having your cash back.
We are interested in everything. But as it is now, we don't have that interest payment in our contract schedule. But I think our lawyers can do us a good job if we want to claim interest. But as it is now, we want what we have with government now, so that we can be able to pay our creditors, so we can be able to redeem some credibility, some little credibility that we need to.
But why not pursue just the money that's with government? I mean, already are not able to settle your debts, mounting pressure for interest.
No,
it will be a challenge.
Yes, we will be interested if interest will be paid. But if you read all the statement, we've not asked for interest yet. But if you go beyond this picketing and we have to go to court, we have to be paying legal fees. And so we cannot go to court to ask for only the money government owes us, but we need to be asking.
Okay, so since you're talking about the legal argument, are you considering going to court?
It's an option.
Yeah, why not opt for that instead of this decision to picket at the buffer stock? And of course, they could drive you out of their premises, isn't it?
No, I don't think they can drive us. Well, it's up to them, but we're going to be there.
It could happen.
We're going to be there. I mean, we have informed police, we have complied with the Public Order Act. We are within the premise of the law to do what we intend to do on Tuesday. But to think of using other options, yes, this is an option. The court is also an option. But this is what we can afford for now. So we want to stretch it to the limit. Beyond it, we'll proceed to court on the advice of our lawyers.
We've seen pictures of how terrible, in some cases, you find the school feeding program at the senior high school level being, with students struggling in some schools. And I need to stress on the fact that some schools, because it may not be all schools, where they're having challenges in terms of feeding or getting adequate food supply to even feed the students. By withdrawing your services, you're just worsening the plight of these students.
Let's get it clear. We've not withdrawn our services. Currently, buffer stock has been stripped of that responsibility of awarding supply contracts to suppliers. Now we are now doing supply through commodity exchange, and then the Minister of Education takes responsibility of paying. So that is settled. We are still doing what we've been doing. We're still supplying. But government is owing us 2021-2022 academic year supply. That's what we are interested in collecting. And see, let the point be stressed that continuing keeping the money with government would frustrate a continuous supply. Because we need that money. Sometimes when you send the goods out, you need a stock because there are emergency supplies we do. The goods are nowhere but with us. So it is better the government come forth with what we have with them and give us so we can sustain the supply.
Are you threatening that you may cut the supply chains if nothing is coming forth? We
might get there because it is not our doing. Our capacity to continue supply to buffer stock or Minister of Education is threatened. Not we the suppliers are threatening cutting supply, but the mere action or commission of government not to pay us or delaying our payment itself is frustrating the supply. Because if you don't give me money to continue my business, I'll be frustrated at a point. Because listen, as at the time we supplied maize, it was 160 Ghana cedis. Today, a bag of maize is 600, 700 cedis. Beans was 500. Today, beans is 1,200. So the question is, if those monies are given to us, are we able to supply the same quantity we supplied 2 years? The question is no. And we are not going to be given interest on the money the government is holding. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it is not us who will want to frustrate the supply process. But the government's own action is frustrating the system.
Some of your colleagues were paid.
Yes. Some of our colleagues were paid, but the distribution or the disbursement, there was no equity in the disbursement.
Why say so?
Why I say so? Because according to the Minister of Education, he has released 90% of the money they owe to us. Yet, that 90% has not gotten to us. The reason being, some members who are also supplying, the managers of buffer stock have interest in those supply. So when those monies are disbursed into their account, they have a discretion to choose who gets what.
So what's your evidence on that?
Yes. I know you agree with me. That
I am not agreeing.
I'm coming. You agree to what I'm about to say.
You agree for evidence. That's
I'm coming.
What I need.
I'm coming. I'll give you the evidence. I'm saying that. You see, it is a known secret that some of our members have 100%. I'll give you. Some have 2% and some have 3%. Some have 90% and some have 100%. And there has never been any reason proffered as to why some took 2% and some took 3% and some took 100% and some took 90%. What could probably be the reason?
Yeah,
when we are all supplying at the same prices.
They decide who to settle, isn't it?
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. It is based on interest
but
of the managers.
You're not able to prove that aspect. That's why I'm driving the point to.
You see, the fact that a thief broke into my room and stole my property, I have not caught the thief, but there has been stealing in my room. I'm saying that the disbursement has never been proportionate. And that can only be influenced by interest of whoever is doing the disbursement.
But why would limited nature of the resources and the fact that
so if it is limited,
90% disbursement was done, clearly means that there would be shortage at some point.
So if 90% disbursement is done, and I'm owing 2 billion, and government is owing me 2 million Ghana cedis, why give somebody who owes 1 million a full payment and give me 5%?
Is that what's happening?
That's what is happening.
There are some whose amounts may be higher, which government is saying.
That's what I'm saying, that if I am owing 2 million and somebody is owing 1 million, the person who owes 1 million is given full payment. The one who owes 2 million is given 5% of the payment.
Probably because your amount is much more higher.
I'm happy you are saying probably, but that is not equity. Because if government owes me 1 million and owes another one 2 million, the liability on the 2 million, on the one whose money is with government to the tune of 2 million, is higher than the liability of the one who...
The administrator would also be looking at the ease at paying the amount.
Say that again.
The ease at paying the amount involved.
I haven't heard what...
It will be much more expensive to pay the person who owes 2 million as compared to the person who owes...
My brother, let's be real here. You are giving an amount to disburse to a group of people who all owe you money. Proportionality is needed in disbursing that money.
And who is asking for that, or who is saying that?
I am the one saying that. That
Yes,
association is the one saying it.
it's not grounded in law, is it?
It's grounded in law. Not in law,
Yes.
by logic, by common sense.
Yeah, that's the point you're making.
That you are given an amount to pay, an amount to disburse, and you've not adopted any model as to how you are distributing, but the only model is your
discretion. Yeah, it's allowed.
And that discretion is influenced by interest, because there is no justification. We have never been told why some have taken full amount and some have taken lesser amount.
That's what I'm saying.
Some have taken
where's
higher
the
amount.
evidence of proving the fact that there's interest at play here?
The evidence is we, the suppliers. The evidence is I am the one supplying. The evidence is I am in the business. And there's no one who can come and tell you what is happening in buffer stock or suppliers apart from me. I'm telling you, I'm giving you a bare fact.
Without evidence.
A bare fact.
Without evidence.
See, the evidence, let me make a point here.
You're telling me, except that you're asking us to take your word for it.
Evidence can be oral, depending on my tangent of argument.
Okay.
I don't need to produce document to prove evidence. It depending on the weight of what I'm telling you. I'm saying that buffer stock discretion, exercise of discretion of that disbursement can only be influenced by interest, because nothing can be preferred as to the explanation why some have taken 5% out of 21 million. They owe the person 21 million. He was given 500,000. Somebody was owing 3 million. He took all the money. My brother, I don't want to hold brief.
And don't forget that you have distinct contracts with the buffer stock company.
Which is what? The contract stipulates that in 60 days, when you submit your invoice, it should be paid.
It may be for your case, but you're not sure of what the next party's contract is.
No, we only have, if we watch all the members, we have a templated form of contract.
That's what you're saying.
That is what is reality.
Okay,
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, right.
We all have the same format of contract, the same pricing, the same wording, except with the company names of the individuals involved. And so there's no differentials in the wording of the contract, but the same wording and the same donations and everything. And so we expect to be treated fairly and equitably. When a 90% of our total amount is dispersed, you don't say because somebody is your cousin or you have one particular interest in one person, so the person gets 100%. There is no justification. There can never be any justification for allotting 100% for somebody, allotting 5% for another, and allotting a meager 1% to somebody else. It doesn't augur well for continuous supply for our business. And it bringing a whole lot of confusion among us, because we are accusing each other of trying to betray the association, when in the actual fact, it is the managers of the buffer stock, it is the managers of the free SHS people who are really frustrating the system. And that's where I need to be very candid with you. You'll be very helpful to us.
I get that. When next do you plan to meet the buffer stock CEO?
Well, we are open to meet buffer stock CEO any day, even tonight. We'll be willing to meet. We are open for discussions. We are not confrontational at all. These are serious issues we are talking about. If today we are invited to come and sit and monies be given to us, why not? Just that we don't want deliberations or issues. We don't want promises.
Oh, you don't want to negotiate?
No, we don't want negotiations. Say 2 years, my brother. How much is the interest rate today? Can we continue to negotiate when our interest rate is compiling, is going high? We cannot. There needs to be payment at a point in time. There needs to be a cut of fake, useless promises made to we, the members. That point has to come to an end. That's what we want to drive home.
Kwaku, we need to go. What message would you want to leave for stakeholders and those perhaps who are watching us now who are in a position of helping solve this challenge?
Yes, they know the issues already. In fact, the fact that they are owing us, they're not controverting the fact that they are owing us. All I can tell them is that we are all for the good of the free SHS policy, we all want to make sure that it becomes a success story. We are stakeholders. Government should treat us as a stakeholders. Government should treat us as people who are interested to ensure this program of free SHS is sustained. We can only do that if our monies are given to us for us to continue. I want to plead with government. We are not fighting government. We are not fighting buffer stock. We are not going to the premises of buffer stock to fight. We are going with our bare hands, with our placard, to make our case that we need our money. Even though police says they are not going to be there, but we are going to be there. And we are not there. We are grown-ups. We are not there. We are not hooligans.
Yeah, but you need protection too.
Protections from who? We are just going to demand for our money. We don't need protection from anybody. What protection from where? We are not going to fight. We are not going to engage in any confrontations. All we want to go and do and to get them attend to us, to get our money to us. That's what we're going to do.
Okay. We'll see you again.
Thank you.
And I'm hoping that next week, even before that, you're hopeful that your problems could be solved.
We are hopeful.
We
are hopeful. We are hopeful.
Okay. We'll wait to see what then happens. And that's Koko Amedome, who speaks for the Food Suppliers Association, asking the buffer stock to settle their arrears.